So Connection, welcome back to the most extreme menage a trois violence you'll ever experience on the Extreme Three-Way Dance podcast. As you can see and hear, I am JT, joined by Jenny and Matt. How you guys doing?
Feeling extremely
Extreme,
excited.
as
As
always.
always,
Yeah.
as ever.
Ah.
Here we are, available to you in video and audio form. On video on our YouTube channel, North South Connection, and of course on our podcatcher applications, any of them out there. Carry the North South Connection, of course, or just go to northsouthconnection.com where you can find video, audio of every podcast we do. On this show here, we are going through the history of ECW. We started in February 1994. We are at the very tail end of 1997. So we are closing in, passing the halfway point of ECW history, which is pretty cool. So tonight we have 3 weeks of television, and we're going to end tonight on the doorstep of November to Remember, which we'll cover in our next episode. So excited about that. We really loved our last set of TV that we covered. There were some great episodes. And we felt coming out of that last one like, oh, we're ready for November to Remember. And the question we had was, will this next batch of TV keep the fire burning, or are we going to kind of taper down and enter a little more coolly than we would have if we would have went right in? So let's see how it plays out. November 15th, 1997. I'll say also this is our first episode of TV post Montreal now. So the wrestling landscape has changed dramatically. One of our main ECW players was heavily involved in that. So we'll see how that leaks into ECW as well. But this is our first episode from that. All right, let's open up with Chris Chetty, the rookie, taking on Just Incredible. We open cold in the match. Chetty hooks a sleeper. Credible breaks it with a jawbreaker, hits an enziguri. The crowd's all over Credible as he lays in some chops. He misses a dive to the corner. Chetty kicks him to the floor. Chetty hits a baseball slide to head back in. Chetty shoots Credible hard to the corner, hits a leg drop for 2. Joey says Credible is the most rapidly improving youngster in wrestling as he dodges a top rope leg drop. Chetty slips out of That's Incredible, hits a Tiger Bomb for 2. Chetty slams Credible. Joey says someday this match is going to headline a pay-per-view. Credible dodges the springboard moonsault and finishes with That's Incredible. Fun match from what we saw. Had a good pace, but it was, I don't want to say it was clipped. It was just kind of like, it was quick, I guess. Credible stays hot, is pushed as engaged. Chetty looked good. I didn't grade this. I just, again, it seemed more like a highlight thing than like an actual match. But it was a good way to get Credible back over after his loss to Sasuke. We have a post-match we'll talk about in a second, but what do you think of the match itself, Matt, from what we saw?
Yeah, I mean, what we saw looked pretty good. Credible looked good again. Chetty looked good as always. I'm kind of wondering if they're ever going to do anything more with Chetty because he's looked pretty good in what we've seen from him. So I don't know, is he just going to be kind of like a jobber to the stars type of thing for a while, or is he eventually going to, take another, like a next step up, sort of like a Spike or something like that?
Or Mikey, Stevie, like we kind of seen all these guys, right, where they were like just kind of nobodies for a while and then developed a character and got a push.
Right. So yeah, I mean, I didn't rate it either, but what we saw of this was pretty good, Jenny.
Well, about the rating, I mean, it seemed like a pretty decent squash match to me. Like, Chetty's pretty fun. Agreed, he needs a little baby push. But then I go to the sheet and I'm going to give my squash match rating, and there's like no rating. I'm like, we're not rating this as a squash. I guess I just didn't really see. I don't know. It felt like
it felt more like, I don't know. I know it wasn't clipped, but it felt clipped. It was weird. I mean, I guess that was just it. I don't know.
It was short. I mean,
yeah,
it was like 2 minutes.
I don't know. I couldn't
tell.
I
mean, I've rated like 18,000 ECW matches.
I guess
exactly
it felt more
like
clipped
that.
for me. All right, we'll give it I don't know, 1.5.
2. We've done it.
Just give y'all shit. Like, it's a strong squash match for Mr.
Team Mom
Credible.
over here laying into us over this grade.
I gotta keep the spreadsheet truthful.
Oh, look, at least you guys fill it in. And we had D'Amato here. He just nothing.
Yeah, he didn't give a shit about any of that. Did we talk about the Jason part?
No, let's get to that now. Jason gets in the ring. He demands Chetty get tossed in the ring. Credible crotch chops, and Joey says he doesn't get it. Jason takes his shirt off. He tells Credible he can leave, and he has something to do. He bitches about Chetty getting Chetty out of the ring. Joey in the nest says Credible beat Great Sasuke, eats by Chetty, and then throws it back to the ring. Jason says he's too good to be managing, and that of the 30 guys in the locker room, there are only 5 that can actually wrestle, and he's one of them. And he's pissed off. And he challenges anyone to come out and wrestle him here tonight in a street fight. And out come the Blue Media Nova to a pop. It has been a minute, but they're still over. They get a big pop when they come out. They do the double Fargo strut. They dance around as Jason's chuckling. Jason said he wanted an athlete for a street fight. And Meanie says these are his street clothes. He's got the usual clothes on. I'm just going to talk about the match quick, and then you can recap the whole thing. So we get into it. Blue Meanie versus Jason. Jason breaks clean off a lockup. He plays with Meanie's belly. He takes Meanie down and slaps him around and bails to the ropes. Jason keeps Meanie at bay, slaps him around and poses. Meanie claws at Jason's balls and rolls him up for the win. A comedy match, I guess. It's payback for Jason's antics, and it's Meanie, so it's Meanie. Like, they've seemed really out of the picture with Richards gone and the BWO kind of dead. So we'll see if they're going to do something different. I mean, him and Nova still palling around, so we'll see if it goes anywhere. Quarter star for this squash, Jenny.
Yeah, I was like, y'all rated this?
It was a
Y'all
match.
didn't rate the legit match?
Look, if you want us to be logical, you've come to the wrong place.
Never, please don't. I love Jason in this, like all of this, like really fun. And because at first I'm like, oh, I see, we're gonna have this filler for 3 episodes until November to remember, but I ended up kind of getting into it. I like Jason. I always I don't know, he's fun, and him saying that he was one of the 5 people who could actually wrestle in the locker room was highly amusing. I did kind of want to see a little bit of a match. I'm not going to lie. I've always been curious about Jason. I've always said it since the beginning. Like, he's a dude that looks like he could probably wrestle. Why hasn't he not wrestled? I will continue to ask that question because he got his balls crushed in this by a Meanie. I think I ended up doing NA on this one, Matt.
Yeah, I mean, I wasn't expecting Meanie to come out when Jason made the challenge.
Yeah, that was out of nowhere.
I thought like fucking New Jack or something was going to come out and just beat the shit out of him for 30 seconds or something like that. Yeah, definitely very random. And I mean, I ended up going 0 on the match just because it was like 30 seconds. I mean, it wasn't as bad as a 0. Don't you give me that look, Jenny. I saw that. It wasn't as bad as like a 0 usually is, but it was like 30 seconds long. So the one move of the match was a nut lock. I mean, like, how am I supposed to rate that?
Well,
0.
We'll see if Meanie sticks around anymore.
We
now get our opening animation. We go to the nest. Joey's hyping up the show and ECW wrestling as a whole. He reminds us November to Remember. Comes up on November 30th in Pittsburgh on pay-per-view. He runs down that. Rick Rude's in the ring. He gets a bunch of You Sold Out, You Fuck China chants. He gives a full intro for our world champion, Bam Bam Bigelow. We then get highlights of Bigelow's warpath as champion as he hits the ring. But he's attacked by Candido and Storm with a chair in the aisle. Rude fends them off and checks on Bigelow, who is hurting. Joey in the nest says Bigelow is up. He's angry. He's bleeding and refuses to go to the hospital. He just wants to get stitched up in the building. Lance Wright comes in. He says he's going to scoop from Connecticut. Bigelow's in the locker room getting 18 stitches. No painkillers or Novocaine. And he's pissed off. And he's going to have words for Triple Threat. And that is the right information. Jenny, what'd you think of this attack? Looks like Rude's still here. But again, I think this is all recorded pre-Montreal. So they're just burning it off. Mm-hmm. We'll see what the first post-Montreal brings us. But what'd you think of this?
It looked like Montreal really took a toll on Rick Rude because he's like in a Nike loungewear. Like, what is this? It's pajamas? I don't know. And his hat looks like he's not having a good hair day. The beard's still on point, but he looks haggard. He looks worn out. So the attack was really good, and I fully believe that Bigelow was just getting stitched up in the back and like taking a drink to numb the pain and refusing any other painkillers.
Yeah, the attack was really well done. But my question is, how the fuck is Lance Wright getting all these goddamn scoops?
Yeah,
he supposedly works for the WWF.
Who's got ears and eyes everywhere, Matt? Ears and eyes everywhere.
Oh. Fuck me, I guess.
The Taz is backstage. Says later tonight we'll see him and Dreamer take on RVD and Sabu, and that is a problem because Tommy probably would have picked Sandman, but he got burned and he can't wrestle, drink, smoke, or fall asleep in the ring tonight. So Taz never said he wanted to be Tommy's partner. He doesn't like Tommy, but it's his lucky night because he hates Sabu and RVD more than he hates Tommy. So if Tommy slips up, though, he will choke him out. He can't wait to fight Sabu. He loves it, and he owes RVD, the Karate Kid, a receipt, and it comes tonight. He's the ECW TV champion. His accolades are a shoot. If the Pitbulls show up, he'll drop them. He'll drop whatever he's doing and bring the fight to them and kick the living shit out of both of them by himself. And Wright will get it too. He did not forget about the pit bulls, Matt?
Him calling RVD the Karate Kid popped me. It's such a perfect insult of that I hadn't thought of, and quite frankly, I'm a little ashamed that I didn't think of it. But it's just so perfect. It's so good. Him going after Sandman out of nowhere, like it's fantastic. I think he's gonna kill the pit bulls, and I'm gonna say it every episode until it happens. I hope he kills Lance Wright, Jenny.
I too wish death upon Lance Wright. This is when y'all tell me, oh, he really died in real life and it was very tragic.
No. I don't know where he is today. He's probably doing a podcast somewhere.
Probably. He should be. Let's get him on. Yeah. Again, like, this is good stuff from Taz. He's so petty though. He's just like, I don't like you, Tommy Dreamer, but I just hate Sabu more. Like, okay. As good a reason as any, I guess. I don't know. He's really nails his promos with his ending tagline. So
he's getting
he's
it over.
doing it for me. So. Yep.
All right. Lance Wright's backstage. He said Rude told me he has a lawsuit against Shen Douglas for his actions last year, and Mommy's lawyer says he shouldn't interview Douglas, or Styles is going to do it, and he tells Joey to say hi to Francine for him. Douglas and Francine head to the ring. The crowd is all over her to show her tits as always, but she ain't going there. Shane calls them morons and says thanks to the new triple threat and their prospect Lance Storm, they made Bigelow more cooperative. So tonight he can walk the aisle, stitches and all, and cooperate to do the job. But it's not going to be like Lawrence Taylor or Chemo. This will be at the hands of Shane Douglas, and he'll kick his ass and get his belt back, leave the city, go to the city where a pay-per-view should be held in Pittsburgh, fans that don't call themselves smart marks. Rick Rude's music hits. He comes out and says everyone can see he's beltless, and his sidekick told him Shane was ballless as well. And if his dick was an inch shorter, he'd have a wart on his ass, and it could have just been pillow talk. We get a little dick chant. Rude gets in the ring. He dares Shane to fuck with him. Candido and Storm are out. They back Rude to the corner as Francine is talking shit, but Bigelow is out to clean house before they attack. He wrecks shop and leaves Storm dead with the greetings from Asbury Park. And Joey says Bam Bam is indestructible, Jenny. Pretty good segment. Adds more heat. Trying to keep Douglas and Bigelow apart a bit, but still, as we talked about, the last episode had that great promo. Could have been a good end point, but we got to find stuff to keep us moving to November. Remember,
we do, and I really hated how we had to drag it out when we were building up to Barely Legal. This is working for me. Like Shane still has this. He's not beating it to death yet, is my point, because he can do that at times. But I'm still with him on this. Francine's still up in her game every week. And I just think he's legit on fire. Like, I don't care. I want to see him cut these promos, like, every week.
Yeah, another really well done segment. It puts more heat on the pay-per-view, which, like you said, I think they need to do after that last segment. We were kind of talking about on the last episode, are they going to find ways to do it, or are we just going to have like filler stuff? I mean, is it the best way? No, but it's damn entertaining, I think. So I think this was really a really fun segment. Rick Rude continues to be great in this role where he's just continuing to fuck with the franchise. And yeah, it's just great stuff.
To the ring we go for our big time tag match, and that is Tommy Dreamer and Taz taking on Rob Van Dam and Sabu. Been brewing for a while. We'll see if Taz and Tommy can coexist. We start with a big brawl from all six as the whistle's blowing. Sabu pelts Tommy with a slingshot leg drop. Taz and RVD brawl outside. Tommy catches Sabu on a cross body, sends him flying with a fallaway slam. Taz comes in and barks at Tommy, who's hobbling in his boot. That allows RVD to attack Taz. Tommy and Sabu fight outside as RVD peppers Taz with kicks. Van Dam gets a monkey flip and heads up top. He nails a frog splash almost all the way across the ring for 2. RVD keeps kicking away but misses a spin heel kick, and Taz folds him with a head and arm Tazplex. Sabu comes in and stares down Taz. They start throwing down. Sabu drop kicks his ankle, but Taz grabs a Tazmission. Sabu kicks low and hits a slingshot kick for 2. RVD and Tommy battle outside as Taz crunches Sabu with a Tiger German. We go to the floor where Tommy and Taz work together to beat on Sabu until RVD flies into them with somersault senton. RVD crotches Tommy on the railing as Taz comes over to help. Taz crotches RVD on the rail now, and Sabu barrels to all 3 guys with an Asai moonsault just in a crazy spot. Tommy, Sabu, and RVD fall into the fans as Taz crawls back inside and recovers. RVD is in first, and he and Sabu get a Rolling Thunder combo for 2, but Tommy saves. Sabu and RVD hit stereo slingshot kicks as they control. Sabu gets a Rana on Tommy, but Taz sprints over and hooks a Taz mission and releases, and RVD leg drops Sabu by accident. Tommy and Taz both hook Taz missions on both guys. Taz releases the hold on Sabu because he sees the pit bulls and right. He bails out and fights through the crowd. As he promised, Tommy puts RVD and Sabu in a double tree of woe and hits him with baseball slide chair drop kicks for 2. Tommy tries a double DDT, but he gets shoved back into the chair. RVD and Sabu try a leg drop, but Tommy moves. He ties RVD in the ropes and grabs a chair, but Fonzie trips him. Beulah comes to the ring. We get a pop as her and Fonzie circle around. Sabu clotheslines Beulah, and Fonzie keeps bouncing her head off the bottom turnbuckle. Tommy makes a save, but RVD cuts him down and slaps him. Sabu grabs a table and sets it up as they put Tommy on it. They head up for double leg drops. Tommy dodges and they crash through the table. Tommy lays them both on the shards, but Fonzie smashes him in the heel with the chair. Sabu and RVD rip off the boot, but Tommy hops through an enziguri, DDT's Raven on the chair, and Raven. Freudian DDT's RVD on the chair to win. RVD and Sabu beat up Tommy as the crowd chants for Sandman. Sabu is like, I think it was like Billy Madison, just zoned out there, locked in. Sabu grabs the chair, slams it hard into Tommy's head. Tommy crumbles and twitches. They start to beat on the ankle with a chair. RVD pins Tommy's foot under the table. Sabu sets it up to burn him with a fireball, but the lights go out. Sabu throws the fire in the dark, and when the lights come on, Sandman is standing on a ladder with a beer. Everyone clears out. Sabu stalks Sandman with a chair as we fade on the episode. Great stuff. This is a red-hot tag match with a wonderful heat and frantic pace. It has some big spots and good storytelling with Tommy's boot, plus Taz bailing for the pit bulls as he promised. It just all works so cohesively despite the madness. I don't know how they pulled it off all the time. The post-match attack was great with Sandman's big return and Tommy's foot being mauled. RVD and Sabu continue to be lethal even when they lose matches. I went 3.5 stars. Just a really good tag match to close us out, Matt.
Yeah, I went 3.25 on it. Just a really fun tag match here. RVD just both guys really, RVD and Sabu, just diving onto everyone through the entire match. I thought was great. Just nonstop action, no wasted movement really from anybody. I thought the double leg drop through a table was sick. Another sick Fonzie chair shot to his foot. Stop going after his damn foot. It hurts. Stop it. You don't have to do that. The DDT to RVD was fantastic. I just love RVD selling the DDT. It always looks great. Kind of surprised that Dreamer was able to overcome the odds and win. Like I thought for sure once Taz left that RVD and Sabu were just going to kind of crush him and win. But
it was good though too because Tommy always loses.
Right? No,
it was like winning that match was cool. It was actually a surprise. Like
that's why I was surprised.
Yeah, it was a shock.
Usually that's a spot where Dreamer loses. So I thought that was really well done. So the post match I thought was good. With them chucking the ladder into Dreamer's face. Good God, just brutal stuff. And good to see Sandman back finally. So good stuff all around here. 3.25, Jenny.
This match was a lot. It was a lot. Sabu in his grass green. He's in a green phase, I'm noticing. Anyway, I really like the opening, like Taz and Sabu segments, and then from the air Van Dam all the way till the end, nonstop. Just like everybody just balling out. Sabu does that moonsault. Poor Dreamer's balls. He can't. It's one body part or the other with this guy. Like they just destroy him. But then he does the double tree of woe, puts the chair up there, and going to try to hobble and limp and dive into the chair. I'm like, boy, your foot don't work. That's not gonna work. He still did it. I'm like, God, it's crazy. The guts on Tommy Dreamer. The tripping spot they did again pissed me off. Like, fuck you, Fonzie. Fuck off forever. Sabu clotheslines Beulah. Then they attack her, and then Sabu like grabs her leg, and he's like pulling, and Fonzie goes for like a choke on Beulah, and he's just like kind of doing this number with Beulah's leg. I'm like, what is Sabu does not know how to wrestle a woman? I guess like that shit was
probably for the best.
I guess, but it was funny. I loved Tommy sitting up off the table,
Mhm.
and the crash through the table. So great. I mean, Jesus Christ. And it just kept going on, until Tommy, I had a feeling he was going to win this one. But when Tommy wins big matches, he sometimes gets real fucked up afterwards, and that
Yes.
exactly happened to
That's
him.
usually it. Yeah. He either loses
So
or he wins and gets his ass kicked.
yeah, so I was so happy for the win that I was like, "Oh God, what body part are they gonna fuck up this time?" And they went with this face, with the fucking ladder. Um, when Sandman showed up, that was epic. I was kind of getting tired of the lights going out thing, but it really worked
It
here.
always
It was
works. I mean,
awesome.
I feel like anything we have problems with, it just gets dismissed because the crowd is so good, like into all of it. It's
Right.
Yeah,
like
yeah,
the
it works.
bad ref, the lights out, like the WF thing. It's like it's
Mm,
whatever. It works.
yeah,
It's
it
just like,
works.
yeah,
Sabu, diabolical. His ass is about to set Tommy's foot
yeah.
on fire.
Yeah, he
Like,
don't
he
care.
does not give two
He's a
shits
madman.
anymore. Like, if
Yeah.
we're done,
Him
he
and
is
RVD are like
absolutely
completely
crazy.
just.
Yep.
Yes.
Like when you think of like nasty
They're
diabolical
evil.
heel teams, they never get brought up, but they're
No.
they're fucked
No.
up. They do
They're up.
stupid
Yes.
Yeah.
shit. Yeah.
No.
Yeah. Super underrated.
All right.
The cliffhanger,
Awards.
too. Like,
We do
shit.
get the clip for it.
Oh, my
The
God.
cliffhanger. All right. Best match was obviously what we just talked about, the tag main
Yes.
event.
Yep.
Worst match, Jason and Meanie, based on our
Yep.
star ratings that we gave to all the matches.
Random matches that we did. Sure. Yeah, let's go with that.
Best moment, I went with Bigelow murdering Storm and Sandman returning. Those are the two best.
I went with Sandman.
Yeah, gotta be Sandman.
Most 90s, I went with Rude's, the Nike sweatsuit that he
Oh,
broke
my
out.
God. Yes.
Yep. Yep.
It was glorious.
Rising, Credible, Candido and Storm, Taz, Bigelow.
Sandman.
Well, he hasn't done anything yet.
Sure he has.
He showed up and climbed a ladder. That's something.
That was awesome.
Stock falling with Jason and Shane's poor penis. It just takes a minute.
Yep.
Oh.
It's the most like shit on thing at ECW.
Yeah.
Final grade 7 out of 10. I think we keep our hot streak going. This was another really strong episode. It's like we haven't lost the momentum yet with 2 to go for till November to remember.
I'm right there with you. 7.
I'm gonna do 7.5.
All right, November 22nd, 1997. We open with clips of last week's episode, and then we pick up where we left off with the show went off the air. Sandman on the ladder. Sabu stalks behind him and just dumps him off it, which was a funny spot. All 4 guys battle in the ring, including some stiff ladder shots. Sandman puts Sabu through a table on a big bump and a huge pop, and then Sandman stands tall on the ladder with the cane. Was this a good follow-up, Jenny, to the cliffhanger you mentioned?
Hell yeah. Hell yeah. It was, oh God. Sandman going through the table. Oh, I miss it. And he looks good. Like did he lose some weight or something?
Yeah, I noticed that too. He looks like
Yeah.
he's in better shape for sure.
Yeah.
Well, he's had that little bit of time off, so maybe it was.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was thinking, because
The
he
treadmill.
was looking a little thick last time we saw
Yeah.
him. So
Maybe
getting
did
a
like no
fireball
drink,
to the face
no drink
really
November, maybe, or something, you know.
Yeah. Oh, I doubt that.
helped.
Light bear only.
Yeah.
All right, we get our opening animation. Joey's in the nest. He says the Sabu Sandman tables and ladders match is locked in for November to remember.
Holy shit.
Good
Joey
God.
talks about their history. We get a clip of Sabu's ECW journey being brought back by Paulie publicly. Joey says how that affected Sandman. He says Taz will also defend against Pitbull 2, a tag team title 4-way dance to death. As the FBI defend against the Dudleys, the Gangstonators, and Balls and Axel. RVD will take on Tommy Dreamer in a flag match with the WWF flag versus ECW flag. And Douglas versus Bigelow for the world title. All in November to remember. Douglas and Francine are backstage. Shane says he'll remind Bigelow why he shouldn't have turned his back. The loss has lit a fire under the ass of the franchise. He'll give a great performance in Pittsburgh, one that'll be talked about for years to come. He can take an ass beating and he can take a loss, but Bigelow is now a mental chess game. And Bigelow, are you prepared to win or lose? A pretty straightforward promo, Matt, here. Any thoughts, though?
Yeah, not much. Fairly standard stuff. We just keep building and building more towards. It feels like they're kind of trying to make this Shane Bam Bam rematch kind of like an epic. Like it feels like that's what they're going for at the pay-per-view, and I think so far it's worked pretty well. So
I would say that they have succeeded in that. Like, it's pretty fucking hot. Like, It's hard when you've gone through like Tommy Dreamer versus Raven, just like this classic shit, and I feel like they're still keeping that same quality. Like when they ramp up, they really ramp up, and
Yeah.
everybody's all in.
Yeah, and they are building to that. But I think it's a good choice because we didn't see much of it. It was basically a squash because
Right.
Shane was caught off guard, right? So now the story
Mhm.
is
Yep.
Shane's going to be prepared. It's a main event match. Can Bigelow beat him when Shane's ready, right?
Right.
Mhm.
All right, November 95 highlights of Scorpio and Sandman dancing with Public Enemy. And we get clips of Sandman's past November showings, his bounce back from this year's show after being burned by Sabu's fireball. Joey's in the nest. He says Mike Lawler opened November 94 with the national anthem, and Paulie did not like it, so he brought out 911 and they beat the crap out of the guy. This year, though, a world famous top shelf, mind blowing musician will play the anthem. It'll be like Jimi Hendrix level, but Paul won't let Joey reveal who it is.
Do we have guesses?
Man Mountain Rock?
Jerry
I don't know.
Lawler.
Jerry Lawler, Tom
Yeah.
Lawler. I don't know.
The honky tonk man.
I had no idea.
Chris
don't think I ever
Cornell.
played it.
This was his time, right?
Yes.
Mhm. Y'all really don't know?
No,
I
don't know.
have no idea.
Okay.
Joey's in the nest. He takes us to our next match. We get a preview of November Remembers four-way dance, and that is Tracy Smothers, John Cronus, Axel Rotten, and Devon Dudley setting up our match, four-way title
Interesting.
match. And you know, when Tracy Smothers is around, so are the FBI. That means it's time for our Italian lesson of the week. And tonight's word, if you are so ready, is putanio.
Putano.
Putanio.
Putanio is Italian for the type of establishment that Bill Alfonso likes to frequent, a brothel.
Oh, a brothel.
Oh.
Tanyo. I like that.
Bill
Wow.
Alfonso said it to the putanio.
You didn't just call it a brothel, huh?
No,
Mm.
called it a putanio.
All right.
So it's specifically brothel, not like strip club.
I think it's a brothel, like
Okay.
where the Home Alone dad was when
The
Tony
Home
Soprano
Alone
was
dad.
talking over the
Right.
first season.
Right.
Exactly.
Right.
I went directly to the Sopranos.
Right.
Yeah, putanio. All right. Match time. Big preview of November Remember. Each member, one member of each team going at it, elimination style. Gertner gives Devon his usual bombastic intro. Rich leads out Smothers and keeps doing the thumb thing. Axel and his chair follow out. Cronus gets us going after a break. All four get into it, pairing off, throwing strikes. Cronus and Smothers head outside. They battle there as Axel throws Devon around the ring. They swap spots as Axel slams Devon's head through a table. Smothers and Cronus trade offense in the ring. Devon slides in and attacks Cronus. He and Smothers work together. They dance, but Cronus wipes out Smothers. Axel returns. We get some teamwork with him and Cronus controlling. Guido shows up and takes out Axel and Cronus, works with Smothers as the crowd is chanting for New Jack. Balls is in, cleans house until Bubba and Dick show up and wipe everyone out with cutters and choke slams. Little Guido's in. He throws blows at Dick, who just stands there. Guido gives up and puts Dick's hand on his throat, and Dick choke slams him. New Jack shows up and a big brawl is on. Weapons are flying. Hype for November to Remember. The crowd is rocking. We get weapons. We get blood. We get violence. The brawl's raging in and out of the ring. Pure chaos. Joey says Dick keeps coming at balls. They all fight in the aisle. Jack plays the guitar in the nest as Guido gets loaded on a table stack and held down. Bubba takes a hydraulic lift into the nest. But Jack just hits him with the guitar and it goes right back down, which is really funny.
Amazing. Amazing.
New Jack then flies off the nest through Guido to a mega pop. Just a friggin' madman.
Fuck.
Back of the ring, Cronus comes off the top, but right into a cutter from Bubba. Devon covers. The Gangstanators are done. It's funny that this is still going after that chaos in the aisle. Axel and Balls smash Bubba and Dick with chairs, and then Balls mauls Devon with the Nutcracker Suite, and the Dudleys are eliminated. Axel then nails Smothers with the Italian flag, but Jeff Jones breaks up the count. He brawls with Finnegan. Molyneux comes in, and Rotten hits a big powerbomb, but Jeff Jones saves again, so Finnegan drop kicks Jones from behind to a big pop, and Axel wins the match with a slop drop. This is a big street fight to set up November to Remember. Served its purpose in a way that no team had much of an advantage outside of Axel getting the win, which fits the story, how the division's been going. Axel and Balls have kind of been dominant of anyone, but they keep getting screwed by Jeff Jones. So we'll see how that plays out. Pretty funny. I thought that they went right back to elimination style right after the big pop, but we did get the finish. The ref stuff is crazy. 2.5 stars, Jenny.
There was something about this match. I really liked it. I really liked it. I think that the preview idea for the match is fun. You know, one guy from each of our tag teams, knowing everybody's going to get involved.
Right.
But I think that's clever. I feel like we don't do that a whole lot much anymore. So, and then I really enjoyed Smothers in this match in the beginning part before New Jack and his barrel of weapons comes out. And I really enjoyed Lil Guido's spot with Big Dick where he kept trying to knock him down and then just said, "Here, choke me, Big Dick," is what he said. I mean, that was great. It was really good. And then the forklift spot, fucking hilarious. New Jack just taking out Bubba Ray with that guitar. It was awesome. And then the tables, shit. Lil Guido got fucking demolished. I mean, it was 3 1/4 stars for me, Matt.
I'm right there with you. I went 3 stars on this. What did it for me is that, I mean, it was ultimately like the street fight brawl that we've seen a million times, but they did enough different stuff, like with the lift, with the choking and all that stuff, where I think it was enough where it made it stand out more to me. Like, I mean, we all expected that all the rest of the teams, all the partners were going to come out and it was going to turn into complete chaos. But I think the chaos we saw was different enough. Like the stuff with the cherry picker was fantastic.
That was so great.
With the guitar, just unbelievable stuff.
Oh,
and then
dang.
I didn't mind the refs fight stuff here because it got a massive pop. The fucking ref threw a damn drop kick. When did you see that happen? So I thought that was really well done. So yeah, way more fun.
Real creative. It was definitely a creative spot for sure. Super creative. I think I don't know.
Yeah.
I think I'm just getting desensitized to some of these tag brawls. I think I've just seen so many.
I get it.
Since we've started, it's just
I just called this belt trash, and like dismissed every single.
It was fun, but I just think it's like once you've kind of seen one, you've kind of seen them all. But again, I get it. Like the crowd freaking loves them and go nuts for them. So I get why not do them. It's a treat. If you went to these one shows and if you went to one of these shows and didn't get one, you'd probably be aggravated,
I'd be
right?
so
it's like whatever. But for me, like, all right, maybe it's because I'm writing all these notes about them. Like I'm just kind of done with them, like, all right, I've seen them a million times.
That's definitely it.
Yeah. All right, Sandman's backstage with a cigarette. He talks about everything everyone says about Sabu, and if he's suicidal, then Sandman is Kevorkian. Fine. How about now?
Yeah,
okay,
good.
There we go. Anyway, that brings us to Pulp Fiction time. I feel like we haven't had one in a minute.
It's
been a while.
All right. Shane Douglas talks about the aftermath of losing his title and how the crippled man couldn't handle Francine, and it led to Bigelow taking the title. But Douglas will take the beating, get back up, and bring his belt back home at November to remember. Candido's rambling about competing at WrestleMania 12 as a tag team champion, the biggest pay-per-view, but this is the biggest pay-per-view he'll ever be part of, and he'll steal the show at November to remember. He'll show Storm how to follow in his footsteps as well. Douglas is back talking about all the extreme measures that Vince McMahon went through to get the belt off the Hitman. One time, Michaels handed a belt to Douglas rather than lose, which seems to be a degenerate problem for Shawn Michaels these days. Sandman talks about his November to remember legacy, including wearing a wetsuit, and this will be another big night for him. Bigelow talks himself up. Beulah's wrapping Tommy's foot, and he says he'll never take time off or listen to the doctors or go to hospitals. RVD has no loyalty. He doesn't care what kind of match they have. He's going to bust RVD up. Sandman says nothing comes easy in ECW, and Sabu won't go down without a fight, and they'll have to put him away after what he does. Shane says if WCW suits this game his opportunity to step outside Flair's shadow, he would have proven he was a franchise, but he didn't. Same with the WWF, where he went to prove he was a real main eventer and the franchise, but he was sent the title from a clown, said he got no chance, and being the franchise isn't just a nickname. If you take that name, you need to prove it. You can be a boy toy or a nature boy or a Bam Bam, but you have to prove yourself to be the franchise. Tommy says Terry Funk taught him how to fight for what he believes in, and that is ECW. Beulah promises she'll fuck up Fonzie if he tries to get involved in the match. Sandman talks about all his injuries and surgeries, but promises he'll put Sabu through the most violent match in pay-per-view history. Bigelow says he'll humiliate Shane in his own hometown. Shane tells Bigelow to save it. We all know his life story. He's a short, fat fuck, and Shane will educate him. Tommy talks about not being good at being phony or a liar and says his phone is ringing off the hook with offers from other promotions, but ECW is his home and he's going to die here. In November to Remember, it'll take an act of God to take out RVD. Candido gives a personal guarantee that if you buy November to Remember, his match alone is worth the money and will steal the show. Douglas says 15 years of frustration explodes at November to Remember, and this will be a once-in-a-lifetime performance. There's no roadblocks in the way of having a classic battle. Sandman says he's politically incorrect and proud of it. This was a good Pulp Fiction. It was good hype for November to Remember. Again, I feel like for the third time, we've had like a good go home.
Mhm.
Like if we went home right after this, we'd be in good shape
Yep.
for the pay-per-view. But we still got another week of TV with the way things fall. So, yeah, man, I thought it was a good series of promos and get you more hyped for the show.
Yeah, a good Pulp Fiction, like always. Candido does his normal rambling thing. I think he said WrestleMania at one point, but who the fuck knows?
Yeah.
Dreamer's foot is absolutely disgusting. I
Yep,
think
it sure is.
he needs to go back to the fucking doctor. And I think I now realize what Sean Kidd means when he says he hates feet. Because good God Almighty, Jesus God, get that checked out. And I thought the Shane Bam Bam back and forth was again really well done. Just everything about this build. It's been simple, it's been basic, but it's been working really well. So yeah, great stuff here, Jenny.
Wow, it really was good. Shane calling Rick Rude a crippled man sure was a choice. But really great worked up promos by him and Bam Bam and Candido, really coked up more in his case. But Shane talking shit about Brett and Sean, pretty much par for the course for him. But timely, I guess. I love the Sandman stuff in this. And is Beulah like basically just a nurse for Tommy now? Like she's like unwrapping his foot. I'm like, are you qualified? Like, what are you doing? Then I thought about it. I was like, well, she probably knows
Right.
a lot of
A
medical,
lot of home
shit
medical
by
stuff.
now.
Yeah.
So I hope Beulah shows up in a nurse outfit maybe
Oh,
one
yeah,
day.
she's basically like the night nurse at this point.
Yeah, that'd be great. But yeah, that foot was fucking gross, man. Shane, when you let him go, I feel like this man could just talk to the wall. I just feel like he has these on a dime, like dropped on a dime promos that are just go on and on.
Mhm.
It's fascinating to me to listen to him. More good shit from Tommy Dreamer. I really liked his use of the phone prop.
Yeah, that was good.
And it just needed a little bit more FBI, if I'm being honest.
Yeah, we always need FBI.
Yeah.
protection.
Yeah. That's a good point.
All right. Best match of the night was the only one we really had. That was a 4-way.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Best moment when New Jack's dive tied with the hydraulic
Jesus.
lift up and down.
Everything New Jack did in the entranceway.
Yeah, all of that.
Stock rising with Sandman, New Jack, Douglas, and I liked Finnegan in that brawl with the refs. I thought
That shit was so good.
it was funny. Falling out with Rude. When I think we must be done. I don't know. This is our first mention of Montreal.
I don't know
Fiction
anymore.
Pulp Fiction was probably cut in after, so that was fresh stuff that they did because that's the first mention of Montreal we've had. So we'll see if we get full mention of Rude or not soon. And then Jeff Jones just fucking everything up.
Oh, also, I enjoyed Beulah's portion of the promo.
Yeah,
we
that was
don't
good
get
too.
enough Beulah promos, I feel like.
But maybe it's good. Maybe it's like the little doses of what makes her work,
Well, I guess so.
I went 6 out of 10. I think it's our worst one in a while. And it's still pretty good, but again, I think I wish we peaked last week and we're right into the pay-per-view. And now it feels like we might come in a little bit lower. And we got one more to go, we'll see, but it feels like we hit the hottest stretch already.
I won't disagree with that, but also I don't hate it as much as I did last time. So I'm going to do 7.
I did 6.5 on this.
All right. Let's get to our last episode, November 29th, 1997. It's our go home for November to Remember, and we cold open with Bubba Ray Dudley taking on Taz. Gertner is introducing the Dudleys. We're back in Queens. The crowd is hot. Taz marches out as Joey says ECW will return to Queens on December 26th. And lives could change in November to Remember before that happens. We'll see. Big spot for Bubba. the TV title match on the doorstep of the big pay-per-view. Bubba attacks with the bellies all over the champion with hard strikes. All over Taz, battering him in and out of the ring. Surprising start. Devon a dick, pound Taz on the floor. The refs tell Bubba to stop or he'll get extra ref help, and out come Axel and Balls in referee shirts. With chairs, they clear out Devon and Dick while Bubba is working over Taz. Bubba goes to look for his brothers, and Taz hits him from behind, beats him with stiff crossface shots, and then shrugs off some punches. Excuse me, folds him with a T-bone. Sets up a hard head and arm Tazplex, but Gertner breaks it up with some weak shots. Bubba tries a cutter, but Taz counters into his own cutter. Stalks Gertner, buries him with a T-bone. Bubba attacks Taz, but Taz slips out of the Bubba bomb with a judo throw. Bubba tries a leapfrog, lands on Taz, but Taz pops up and chokes him out for the win. I thought Taz actually gave Bubba quite a bit here. But it always feels like when, not if, he's going to come back and wreck shop. Like, you just know it's coming. It's a good showing for Bubba. Taz stands tall ahead of November to Remember. And a good little TV title match with a great atmosphere. So I went 2.5 stars. Jenny, I thought it was perfectly fine for a TV match.
I liked it a little bit more than you, but not by much. I really liked Joel's line. The only color more glorious than tie-dye is gold. Send out your champion. I was like, this fucking guy. But yeah, I ended up really liking this. I really like Rotten Balls coming out as refs. And those Tazplexes were fucking sick. Joel trying to fuck with Taz, also quite hilarious to me. Joey calls him a big fat accordion after the Tazplex, which was fucking funny. And then Taz Mission, classic to win. A fun match and an awesome crowd, as usual, in this venue of ours that we've come to know as Studio B, I think. Maddie?
Yeah, fun little match here for sure. I went 2 3/4 on it.
That was mine too.
Gertner calling Bubba the Western Dudleyville Heritage Champion was fantastic. just a fantastic line. So good. But yeah, I think this is kind of a situation where the match itself was probably worth like 2.5. But I feel like the crowd really helped us along. The crowd was so hot that I gave it a bit of a bump for it. And I wonder if that's going to stick with the Elks Lodge here. Because
Right.
I just think the crowds have been so hot every time we've been here that it's really added a lot to these matches. Like
Agreed.
it just, a basic 2.5 match. I just think it added so much to it. So yeah, it just, I thought it was a good TV match, but the crowd for me was the story. So I went 2 3/4 on it.
All right. Taz grabs the mic. He says he was born and raised 20 minutes from here in Brooklyn, and on pay-per-view he'll commit the most violent acts because he's credible and a machine, and is from Brooklyn, and by himself will show the world what a shoot is. What Bret Hart and Vince McMahon did was the shit they did was a shoot. Watch the pay-per-view and see what Taz does when he hurts someone just because he can. He is Taz, ECW champion, TV champion. The catchphrase is catching on. Beat me if you can, survive if I let you. We get our opening animation to hype November to Remember. Joey's in the ring in front of a wild Queens crowd. We cut to a Douglas and Francine music video. We come back. Douglas and Francine are in the ring. Francine's on crutches, so she's banged up. She got something going on. Shane says after the last time he was here, he wouldn't want to come back. And he's read every sheet and heard people saying Philly is the great wrestling city and how the great Bingo Hall Arena is and how it's the city of brotherly love. But Queens, New York, and the Elks Lodge and these fans put Philly to shame. We get a Philly sucks dick chant as Shane smirks. He says the fans are great and New York has the best looking women and the most intelligent men and a great building next to Pittsburgh in the Golden Dome. Shane tells Joey to stop perving on Francine. He shouts out WPTT in Pittsburgh, where they are 20 hours away from the biggest event in the city's history. He says they have to deal with this shit just to come home and take his belt back. Tomorrow night, he goes home and becomes the next ECW World Champion. He says he's talking to the Pittsburgh fans who will put Queens to shame. And as Francine announced him as the winner and new champion, we cut to Paul Heyman narrating a Bam Bam Bigelow video package, hyping him up and recapping Rude's action. Says he was freelancing for the WWF in secret talks with WCW when Bigelow won. And that's that. So a great promo from Shane, who's been on fire, setting up this dream match in his hometown. I like this challenging the Pittsburgh crowd to show up, right? He's basically maybe trying to get them going a little bit, saying, hey, look, we want you to put Queen's to shame at this pay-per-view. Do it. So Jenny, this is pretty good.
It was very good. Just more greatness. And the last time Shane was here, it did not go well for him. So this is a good way to fire back. And boy, he's just amazing. He just twists every single thing that he can to make himself look better. And he's doing it really well for me. Um, great stuff, Matt.
Yeah, the thing I really loved about this is how he had the Queens New York crowd in the palm of his hand, and then eventually he just snaps his fingers and turns on
Yep.
him and says, "No,
hmm
fuck you, you suck. Pittsburgh's better." Like,
Pittsburgh's bad.
I thought it was so great, just really well done. Shane's on fire right now.
All right. Joey runs down the nest, runs down the card one more time for November. Remember, it says this is the biggest pay-per-view in history and the biggest event in ECW history. Call now and order. We go to Chris Candido backstage. He says he's 25 years old in the best shape of his life. He started in the ring at 6. He's got 19 years of experience. He made his debut at 14. Travels around. All the smart fans grab him, ask about Masawa and Kobashi and Benoit and Flair and Guerrero and Malenko. And what about Sabu and RVD and Bigelow and Douglas and even Shawn Michaels, who steal the show? But at November, remember, the top of the card is Douglas against Bigelow. And the next day, they'll talk about Shane bringing back the title, but also talk about Candido stealing the show with a performance of a lifetime. He guarantees he's the greatest performer in wrestling today and will establish himself as such. Every time you pay for an event, he'll steal it. November, remember, means a lot to him. The future of the business, he steals the show. It belongs to him. Matt, those are really good Candido promo, given the hard sell.
Yeah, I feel like this was the best promo we've seen out of Candido really since he's been here. It was serious. It wasn't the fucking rambling nonsense we usually get out of him. It actually made sense. He actually had a point and made the point, which again is not a given his normal promo style. But yeah, I thought this was really well done, and I think it kind of showed just how broken up he is too about the triple threat, kind of not being a thing anymore, save for maybe him and Storm. So, but yeah, just really well done. Great stuff out of Candido here, Jenny.
Usually I just sort of brush off anything he says, like, because it sounds insane while he's saying it. But he really drew me in on this one and toned it down and made points and had emotions. And that all of that came across very well. And knowing how good he is in the ring, there's a fair chance he could steal the show. I kind of believe this promo. So to me, great job.
All right. Joey says Candido versus Tommy Rogers, maybe the show stealer of the night. Tommy Rogers. I don't know where. Fantastic. Tommy Rogers. We'll see where that goes. Joey in the Nest talks about Born to be Wired and how it happened before Hardcore Heaven and changed the lineup at the last minute. Could lightning strike twice here again with our main event? Sabu challenges Bam Bam Bigelow for the world title. We'll see if Sabu could do it again, just like he did back in August. Can Bigelow stay hot in Queens? Bigelow eases in. Sabu comes right at him with heavy blows and a splash in the corner. Bigelow tries to press slam, but Sabu slips down as the crowd is chanting for Sandman. Bigelow sits hard on Sabu, bails out, and dodges a baseball slide. Bigelow pushes through. He pounds on Sabu, throws a chair at the champ to slow him down. Sabu meets Bigelow with a baseball slide, knocks him into the crowd, and flies into him with air. Sabu. Bigelow hammers away, throws Sabu back to ringside, puts him on a table that collapses under the weight. Sabu hits him with a slingshot leg drop anyway. Back inside, Bigelow powerbombs Sabu on a chair, heads up top, but misses the headbutt and falls on the chair. Sabu sets the chair up and hits a springboard leg drop, and they both scrap and tumble outside. Bigelow heads back in, but Sabu smacks him with a chair, goes up top, and crashes into Bigelow with another chair shot for 2. Sandman's out with the balcony as we go to break. We come back. Bigelow's all over Sabu with a headbutt. He loads up the greetings from Asbury Park, but Van Dam saves with a dropkick and draws the disqualification. RVD and Sabu are all over the champ, but Dreamer comes in to save. Sabu goes after the foot with a chair. Bigelow runs off Shane. Sandman comes in, and RVD and Sabu bail out as Tommy's writhing in pain from his foot again. Pretty straightforward. It felt dialed back ahead of the pay-per-view. I guess it made sense. They had a couple big spots. Bigelow fits in well. I mean, it was good stuff, but just you could tell they weren't going like all in. The post-match brawl was a one last great hard sell for pay-per-view. So I went 2.5 stars, Jenny.
I did 2.5 as well. Sabu in his lime green, total green phase. And also this man just does whatever. Like, I'm going to set up this. Okay, that didn't work the way I wanted to. Okay, I'm going to still just run that right back. Like, it's amazing. He just, he's going to get his shit in regardless. Like, however it's going to go, it's going to go. And, you know, we've talked about those work botches before. It's just a little Sabu quirk that it just pops me every time he does it. And this was super fun to watch Bam Bam throw his ass around. He missed that headbutt again. So that was, I don't know. I don't know if it's harder to watch when he connects or when he misses the headbutt. Sabu murdering him with the chair off the top. Amazing. And then Sandman on the balcony. It's I don't want to say it's missing something. It's just it was good. It was
Yeah, it was good.
maybe it could have used a touch more heat, but splitting hairs at this point, Matt.
Yeah, I'm with you guys. I went 2.5 on it. Perfectly fine match. Another final again for the 8th time. Hard sell for the pay-per-view. Except this is actually the go home. So finally, but yeah, it was fine. It's a cool match on paper. Bam Bam versus Sabu, and I thought it was pretty well done. I mean, we kind of knew this was going to turn into a brawl. Like I feel like we weren't gonna. I wasn't expecting a DQ, but we were going to see like some sort of no contest or something. So it makes sense that it was some sort of schmozzy finish, and it did felt like they were dialed back, but I mean, you got a pay-per-view coming up, so it makes sense. So yeah, 2.5 for me. Yeah, it was fine. Yeah.
All right, we wrap up with Van Dam and Sabu pissing on an ECW banner outside.
Oh my Jesus.
Or in the arena, I should say. RVD talks about the flag match and how Vince would love to have the day of flag flying, and Eric Bischoff calls him every day to come to WCW. If Tommy wins, he can have ECW do damn good business, but him and Sabu have bigger plans, and they light the ECW flag on fire. And then we wrap up with our usual annual November Rain hype video to sell the pay-per-view, which is always great. Matty, thoughts on the pissing and the November Rain?
Sabu almost lighting himself on fire when he burned the flag was something. He just had to throw the thing down and back up because I'm pretty sure he thought he was going to die doing that. So, but yeah, and the November Rain highlight package is always fantastic.
Yeah.
So.
The fucking
annual tradition.
Yep.
The fucking disrespect. I was highly offended. Pissing on the flag, number one, spray painting it, and then setting the fucker on fire. Like, goddamn, these bastards. I couldn't hate them anymore.
So our buddy Marcus was listening for a little bit. He said he did some digging, and the rumor was that Slash was supposed to play in November to Remember.
Wow.
The rumor is either his agent pulled him, or there was never a real deal, and his Heyman kind of threw it out there to tease something. That's what I said. Like, no one's on the show. Nothing happens. So,
great.
If this was supposed to be it or not, I don't know. But Marcus pulled the notes for us. So thanks, bud.
Thank you.
All right, let's get to our awards. Best match, Bigelow Sabu.
Mm-hmm.
I actually went Taz Dudley.
Then. Oh, actually, I did too. Taz Dudley.
No, I think I had Bigelow Sabu just a little ahead. Then I have I think I had them the same actually. Yeah, I had them both at 2.5. So I just like the title match better. So worst match for me was Taz Dudley. Opposite for you guys.
Yep.
Okay.
Best moment, I went Shane's promo.
Yeah.
It was really good. Yeah.
Most 90s, the November Rain.
Yep.
Stock Rising, I went Taz and Candido. And I guess Bubba. He had a good night.
Yeah, I would add Bubba for sure.
Yeah.
Stock Falling, I just want Tommy's foot. That poor thing.
Barely hanging on there.
It's been through hell. It's gangrene and shit. Get that shit kept.
All right, final grade, I went 6.5, just like the last episode. Again, it was really good. But, I feel like, again, we peaked a couple weeks ago. I think it was tough timing for them to be this late in the month. I think that's just how the pay-per-view schedule worked out. But it would have been – the creative really peaked going in like 2 weeks. These last two were still very good, but it felt like we were really at our hottest point. Like if we went in after that, one a couple weeks ago, it would have been like a great time to get in there. But they did a good job. It's not like it fell off the cliff. I don't think we're going in as hot as we would have been.
Right.
I'm gonna do the 6.5 as well. They've tightened it up. Like even with like 2 unnecessary episodes, that's still like tremendous growth from what we saw from Barely Legal from the first pay-per-view to now.
Right. Yeah. I mean, I went 6 on it, but we peaked early. But really, though, the entire build has been really well done. So I'll take a 6.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to the show. We're going to get to in 2 weeks. We'll be back with November to Remember 97, our last pay-per-view 97, our third and final one. A month from tonight, we will wrap up our 1997 calendar year. So before we know it, we're going to be another year, 1998. Looking forward to see how things progress there. So
amazing.
Check out everything. NorthSouthConnection.com is the home for all of our content, video and audio. to subscribe on YouTube to get all the video stuff, any podcatcher app. It's a lot of it's pro wrestling based, including some stuff trickling in on Wednesdays with the Jenny position as well. But check out everything we have to offer across the entire network. We really appreciate that. You can find us on social media as well. We're all on Twitter. You can follow us on Instagram. We're on TikTok. We got some unique little content popping up there as well. And of course, our sister networks as well, Placement Nation Wrestling Network and Placement Nation Pop Experience. We're all in and about those as well. So live your life to the extreme. Talk to you in 2 weeks. November to remember. Pissing on an ECW banner in the November rain.